Okay, for this assignment, you were asked to analyze a political cartoon that is in the Chapter 25, Section 2 activity. You'll see in the Chapter 25, Section 2 activity, there is a lesson that has two different political cartoons. So there is a political cartoon where there is a gentleman stretching over Africa, and then a political cartoon where several different people have their hands on Africa. So for this example, we're going to look at the gentleman that has his legs on the different sides, the northern side and then the southern tip of Africa. So what you're going to do is you are going to open the document, the cartoon analysis document for this assignment. And you're going to start to see this throughout the course. We're going to use this a few times. This is your first time, and that's perfectly okay. Obviously, you will be graded for completion and making sure that you're at least drawing your answers from the documents, but I'm not going to grade you necessarily if your answer is a little bit off, as long as it shows me that you looked at the cartoons and you have an understanding of them. So, first thing that we are going to look at is the title of the cartoon, what objects are in there, are there any words or phrases, dates or numbers. So we're going to slide back over to the cartoon, and in looking at it, the title, we have kind of a little caption here. I'm going to go for the title, Cecil Rhodes stands astride the whole of Africa. Astride the whole of Africa. And the individual that we see, again, is Cecil Rhodes, and we know that because we have a little bit of background information at the beginning of this lesson at the top. There's some background here. British man, he was instrumental in settling South Africa. He founded the De Beers Diamond Company, which is still around today, very wealthy, and set up dangerous mines where Africans were forced to work in horrible conditions. So we don't necessarily have any words or phrases on here aside from the caption. You're going to see on this political cartoon, you're going to fill in that area. If there's ever an area that you don't have an answer for, you can always put NA, which means not applicable. And there is also no dates or numbers on this. A lot of times with political cartoons, you'll see some dates that could be significant to an event. So in looking at this, the next question is, which objects are used as symbols? So we're going to come up here, take a look at the cartoon. Which objects are used as symbols? So we have the map or country of Africa. We have large shoes, large gentleman. Now, I have seen this interpreted two different ways, and either would be okay with me. Some people say that this kind of looks like Rhodes as being a kind of like a puppet master, that he is controlling the strings of South Africa. So you could say puppet strings. People are doing as he wants. Or you could say that it signifies their transcontinental railroad. So whatever you feel as you interpret it. Why were the symbols used and what do they represent? Let's go that we're going to say that he is kind of the puppeteer, the puppet master, and he is sort of dictating how Africa will proceed forward. So the next question is, why were the symbols used and what did they represent? So you could say puppet strings were used to show that Cecil Rhodes was controlling Africa. Okay. Is anything exaggerated? Certainly. It would be Cecil Rhodes's appearance, his size would pretty much be the biggest size, particularly would be the biggest emphasis. Is the cartoon realistic or abstract? It's realistic. I mean, obviously no one could go from one end to the other, but it is using it's using the country and it's using a person, Cecil Rhodes, and it wouldn't be too much of a conclusion for you to draw that he is standing over Africa. So I would say it's realistic. Those adjectives that describe the emotions in the cartoon, it would probably be that Cecil Rhodes is greedy, glutton, controlling, confident, bigger than Africa, that he kind of is walking all over them, and that he is walking or taking advantage, we'll say, of Africa. Okay. Words or phrases. Which words or phrases appear to be important? And there are really no words or phrases for this cartoon, so I'm going to put NA, but keep in mind that you may fill that in for your cartoon if you feel that's applicable. Cartoon purpose. Describe the action taking place in the cartoon. Cecil Rhodes is stretching over the continent of Africa very confidently. The next question is explain how the words in the cartoon explain the symbols, and that's going to be an NA as well. What is the message of the cartoon? Message of the cartoon is that Cecil Rhodes was very influential in settling Africa, and that he believed that he had power over the country, and didn't appear to mind that he didn't give others a say. He felt it was all his. Now this is all, my interpretation. So again, it can't necessarily be wrong. But if you wrote here that, say, Bill Gates and Windows, we'll use as an example. If you said, oh, well, I think in this cartoon it's showing that Bill Gates thought he owned Windows. Well, that's wrong. That has nothing to do with the program Windows, nothing to do with Bill Gates. But, we want specifics here. What do you get from the cartoon in relation to what we are studying? The last question is, who are the people who might agree with the cartoon, and what might be the public reaction? The people that would agree with it and think that it's perceived correctly, so the people that would look at it and say, yeah, that's true, would be the people that were mistreated and whose feelings were not taken into consideration. And this is because basically what happened is, they didn't really get a say over what was happening to their country, and they didn't really, their beliefs or their motives, the way that they wanted, the direction they wanted their country to go was not taken into consideration at all. So people that would agree with it would be the people that were mistreated. Now, the people that were benefiting from the company may say, oh no, we were giving people jobs, we were doing something right, we were putting people to work. Now, what they neglect to mention is that people were mistreated in these mines as well, and the country itself was essentially just came in and just divided up without any say from the people. So most of the public would agree, with the exception of those that benefited from Cecil Rhodes settling South Africa. So I'm going to slide back my analysis back over here, and you'll see there's a couple different components. There is 4 components in first glance. There is 5 components in images, 1 in words, and 4 under cartoon purpose. So I want you to do your best to fill this out. You should have over half of it filled out. But if there ever is something that's not pertinent to the cartoon you're analyzing, for instance, dates and numbers, you would put NA. And NA means not applicable. That is going to be the abbreviation that we're going to put it. Now, again, in looking at the cartoon that you're going to analyze, I'll tell you that you can certainly put in, you're not going to be able to put in the years, but you are going to be able to put it in words. There are words on this cartoon. you should be able to fill out the majority of things. Again, you're not going to be able to fill out the dates and the numbers. Which objects are used as symbols, you'll be able to fill that out. You will be able to fill out pretty much the rest of it. Okay, what I am looking for is at least 60% of it being completed. Okay, so, and what I mean by that is the only reason something wouldn't be completed is because you're having a hard time analyzing the cartoon. And if that's the case, I want you to contact me. Okay, so if you're only able to fill in 1 or 2 things on this entire sheet, you should contact me via Moodle message or give me a phone call. So you're going to use the cartoon analysis worksheet, and a blank one, to analyze this second cartoon here, and that is the scramble for Africa. Okay? If you have any questions, as always, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much and have a great day.